greatest contribution of Laudato Si to the environmental dialogue is, to my mind, its systematic overview of the crisis from religious points of view. Until now, the environmental dialogue has been framed mainly with political, scientific, and economic language. With this new encyclical, the language of faith enters the discussion clearly, decisively, and systematically.
Wisely, Pope Francis begins the encyclical not with a reflection on scriptures and not a tradition, the two pillars of Catholic teaching, which might tempt non-believers to set aside the letter, but with an overview of the crisis, including issues of water, biodiversity, and so on. Only in chapter 2 does he turns toward the gospel of creation, in which he leads readers step by step through the call to care for creation that extends as far as the book of Genesis, when humankind was called till and keep the earth. But we have done to summarize his approach: too much stealing and not enough keeping. In a masterful overview, Pope Francis traces the theme of love for creation through both the Old and New Testaments. He reminds us, for example, that God in Jesus Christ became not only human, but part of the natural world. Moreover, Jesus himself appreciated the natural world, as is evident in the Gospel passages, in which he praises creation. The insights of the saints are also recalled, most especially Saint Francis of Assisi, the spiritual Lord Star of the document.
Encyclical firmly grounds the discussion in a spiritual perspective and invites others to listen to a religious point of view. Particularly, its understanding of creation as a holy and precious gift from God to be reverenced by all men and women. But the Pope also hopes to offer ample motivation to Christians and other believers to care for the nature. Selfishness also leads to the evaporation of the notion of the common good. This affects not simply those in the developing world, but also in the inner cities of our more developed countries, where he calls for what might be termed an urban ecology. In the world of Laudato Si, there is no room for selfishness or indifference. One cannot care the rest of nature if our hearts lack tenderness, compassion, and concern for our fellow.
Everything is connected, including the economy. One of the greatest contributions of Laudato Si is that it offers what theologian calls a systematic approach to an issue. First, he links all of us to creation. We are part of nature, included in it, and thus in constant interaction with it.
Overall, in decisions regarding the environment and the use of the Earth's common resources, he repeatedly calls for an appreciation of the immense dignity of the poor.
In his encyclical, has strongly acknowledged the very solid scientific consensus on the disturbing warming of the climatic system. Francis has pointed to the root cause of the ecological crisis: apathy, arrogance, avarice, the reckless exploitation of the environment in the name of financial gain, creeping apathy, and weak political international responses have been finally tagged by the Pope as the root of all environmental evil.
The Laudato Si of Pope Francis is a call, not only for us Christians to save our own lives, but also to care for every creation of God.